So, with Tokyo Game Show just happening the other day, and there being a lot of upcoming releases that are the sort of things that I'd want to cover on this channel if I had the time to, I've decided that I want to do a couple of little first impression quick looks of several of the demos that came out around this period. Since Lord knows I'm not going to be able to play all of these, let alone cover them in videos. So because of that, we're going to have like a little triple demo quick look extravaganza over the next couple of days, with this video being a look at Valkyrie Eylisum's demo, and the other two being a look at Wo Long and the new Star Ocean game. And I'll be releasing them over the course of this next week. With that being said, just a little heads up, the Wo Long demo is only available until the 26th, so if you are interested in playing that, then definitely jump on it now. With that all being said though, I'll move right into things. Now, both Valkyrie Eylisum and Star Ocean are two games that I've been kind of cautiously optimistic about and keeping my eye on. Both of these series have been dormant for quite a while. Well, not Star Ocean, but it's had a couple of bad games, so it might as well be. In fact, that might be worse. And while the initial trailers for both did not give me the best impression, I was hopeful for them and sort of cautiously optimistic, as I would like these series to escape the gacha mobile hell dimension that they're currently trapped in. Even though I've not really touched either series all that much, I am interested in them enough that I do want to go back and play some of the older ones, maybe as a review or something. But more importantly, I just think they're both interesting IPs, and it's a bit of a waste to just leave them rotting somewhere in a gacha mine. With that all being said, Valkyrie Eylisum is the one that I was worried about a bit more. The new Star Ocean looks like it's got more of a budget between the two, and I think exploring those big open areas at like high speed is probably going to be fun no matter what you do. But going purely off the first trailer for Valkyrie Eylisum, I was not filled with a lot of confidence. Even less so when I found out that the team working on it was the same team that made the mobile game. However, after a few more trailers, I was starting to feel a little bit more confident, especially since I was seeing things that were indicating that this game might be more than just an action RPG and might be character action instead. And after learning that the team that made that Samurai Jack game that came out a few years ago was the secondary dev on this project, then yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And I will say, just based purely off the demo, I am pleasantly surprised with how the game's turning out. You can very much tell that the game doesn't quite have the budget that it's trying to look like it has. The game feels a little bit stiff, and I know this is a demo, but it feels really unpolished. It looks and runs perfectly fine, but there's just some sort of feeling that you get when you're playing it where underneath everything, it feels like the game could fall apart at any minute, even if it's not doing that. But underneath that is a combat engine that feels pretty well thought out and is very fun, if a little basic. But with the RPG elements, I feel like it's something that would definitely get fleshed out throughout the rest of the game, especially from what I've seen in the demo. The game starts with a pretty long fleshed out tutorial that gives you a bunch of abilities that they'll take away afterwards for chapter 1 and so forth, which I feel are there both for this demo but also to show players that the identity of the Valkyrie series is here in some shape or form. And yeah, it's pretty fun. You've got your different combos you can do, you've got some special attacks in the form of divine arts, enemies have weaknesses that you can inflict ailments on and that will put them into a sort of stun state. There's a grappling hook, which is one of the things that sort of gave me hope for this game's combat. And you've got the Valkyrie profile aspect in there, being you've got these assist characters, your Einherjar that you can summon in that will, for the cost of some of your MP meter, you can summon in a character to help you fight, and then their element will be applied to all of your attacks as well. It's fun enough, but it's a little shallow, and it definitely wouldn't be something that could carry a full game. After this tutorial, they take those Einherjar away from you, because the whole point is that you unlock them throughout the story. However, they do give you new options to upgrade your moveset. The tutorial gives you enough materials to upgrade your main sword from level 5 to level 6 out of 10. And yeah, in an RPG, upgrading your gear makes sense. Make it stronger, deal more damage. But what upgrading weapons also does in Valkyrie Eylisum is unlock new combos and moves for them to do, with this upgrade giving your sword a dive kick attack as well as a sort of aerial relaunch that you can extend your combos with. And while the demo doesn't give you another chance to upgrade the sword again, that doesn't mean it doesn't let you improve your moveset. You can also use the same currency and materials that you use to upgrade your weapons to upgrade the Valkyrie herself. Maria, I think her name is. I don't think it's actually ever said in the demo. Now, these upgrades can be just increasing your damage or increasing your health, which are boring. But these things can also be stuff like new moves or new functions added to your existing stuff. And you can unlock stuff like a long distance dash attack when you're far away from the enemy, or a Ninja Gaiden style counter after an attack. But it'll also add stuff like a double jump that you can use to extend your air combos, or getting witch time after last second dodges and getting parries instead of a normal block when you do those at the last second too. And to top it all off, the end of chapter 1 gives you access to a second new type of sword, being a rapier instead of a short sword style weapon, which I was able to get up to level 5, and it has an entirely different moveset to the basic short sword that you start off with. And it definitely fleshes out the combat quite a bit, but not quite as much as I'd like it to. At least potentially not yet. It currently has the same problem that the first God of War game on the PS2 had, which is, while it is possible to switch weapons quickly with the press of a button, unfortunately you can't really do it mid-attack string, which means that unfortunately combo potential is significantly limited to how much it could be. That being said, however, due to the nature of the fact that things like witch time and a parry were upgrades that you can get, I could very much see that mid-combo weapon switching is definitely a possibility. So unfortunately we will have to wait a little bit to confirm or not whether that's true, but I really hope it does, because something like that can really help make a combo system be a lot more complex and enjoyable. And even with just one weapon, you can still do stuff like dash attack into a launcher, into a jump, into a relaunch in the air, into an air combo, into a jump cancel, into an air combo, into an air slam, into some sort of a special divine art. And when that's what you can do in Chapter 1, when you consider the fact that you can unlock abilities throughout the entire game, it's not hard to imagine how it might open up. One other thing that was quite interesting is the level design was surprisingly pretty decent. The outside areas with a lot of fields and flowers look pretty nice despite quite a bit of popping even on PS5. I wasn't a big fan of that. But what I really enjoyed is there was this section where you're going through like a small castle town area, and if you looked around enough you could find ways on top of the roofs of the buildings. And I thought, oh, this is just, haha, I've managed to exploit my way up here. But then I started to find more and more things like treasure chests, and like you could get inside one of the towers and fight enemies in there, and was like, oh, the developers fully expect you to be able to come up here. The whole thing felt very open, but a lot more thought out than I was really expecting it to be. With that all being said though, one really big negative that I had on the game, which is I don't know how much story the Valkyrie profile games typically have, but Valkyrie Eylisum really had next to none, at least in what I've seen of Chapter 1. There's this artsy cinematic info dump before you even start the tutorial, and then you do the tutorial, and then Odin goes, "Hey Valkyrie, I got injured, I need you to solve all the problems," and then he sends you out, and that's it. I don't think Valkyrie Maria even says more than 10 lines in that opening sequence. She just goes right and starts on her mission. It's very bizarre how sparse the story seemed to be in the demo, especially since you never really got that impression from the trailers or anything. At the very least, at least you can say that you're actually playing the video game pretty much immediately after booting it, which for JRPGs isn't always the case, so that's nice on that end, but yeah, still a bit weird. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Valkyrie Eylisum. Still cautiously optimistic, but more optimistic than cautious now, so hopefully it will turn out pretty good.